Today you don't get to see my ugly face. I wanted to show you something. So this video here, you can see on the Independent, they have a live cam of Maidan. So apparently tomorrow the Russians are invading, according to the newspapers. Zelensky sarcastically saying they're going to invade. Apparently sarcasm is ignored. Like I said, I don't know if they'll invade or not. But what I do know is I wanted to show you guys something. So this is, if you see this is where all the Western journalists take pictures and they interview people, right? This is Maidan. But if you live in Kiev, you know this part with the beautiful photo ops, that's not really the part that will make you feel emotional. It's the place on the side of Maidan which they never report. And this is the part. This is the people who died in Maidan. It's a street. You can see it all the way down. Right? This guy was a construction worker. This guy was retired, 64 years old. Arjun, security guard. 2014 they died. There's a big, beautiful statue here, right? People put flowers here all the time. So all Ukraine ever wanted was freedom. Sorry, my allergies are catching up to me. It's springtime now, right? Volodymyr, repairman. See, these are all working class. Student. He's 21 years old. This is the price of democracy. Volodymyr was a... What was he? He's a driver. Retired too. 72 years old. This is democracy. After this, of course, another 12,000 Ukrainians have died in the Donbass and died in crime, fighting for freedom. The thing I wanted to talk about here too is this is around the same time as the Syrian civil war. And I lived in Syria, so I've had students who died in Syria too. I'm not going to talk about Syria, this is not the videos for it. But since 2014, there's been a war in Ukraine. Canada, for example, has accepted less than 1,000 refugees from this country. Let me repeat myself. Less than 1,000 refugees from Ukraine have been accepted by the Canadian government. In 6 months of the Syrian civil war, there was 25,000 Syrian refugees accepted into Canada. Remember the photos? Afghanistan this year was another, 20,000 picked up by planes from Kabul as the Taliban were coming in. I don't know if there's a hypocrisy, I don't know if it's a blind spot, this idea that white people, I don't want to get racial, but Belarus has zero refugees from Belarus this year. And you can't find one person that's fleeing Lukashenko. Like I said, at least the Russians care. You guys don't give a shit about this. Like I said, over here, this is where your newspapers will show. I think the Independent in Britain has a live camera, like a fucking vultures, waiting for something to happen so they can show a photo op of Maidan. They don't know about this shit though. They won't report on this. Repairmen just fighting for freedom. This democracy. My wife told me that she doesn't like these videos, so hopefully she's not listening. She hates the street. And I think most Ukrainians, it's the same. It's a reminder, right? It's a reminder of everything that was lost. Everything that was lost. Construction worker. There you go, Liam. Student. handyman. Tiny little villages too. This is the price in Ukraine of freedom. After Maidan, in Donbass, there was between 2 to 4 million displaced people. 2 to 4 million Ukrainians were driven out of their houses. I tried explaining to Ukrainians what displaced people means, right? They said, well, I don't understand what's the difference between a displaced person and a refugee. And I was explaining, it's like, if they have refugee status, then they have the ability to leave this country to go to the West. But as a displaced person, they have no rights. It's crazy, huh? It's crazy. The embassies have left, and I want to tell you something. I'm not even just talking about this. There wasn't even a department in the Canadian embassy for expediting refugees in Ukraine. So people say, well, the Ukrainians never applied. The Ukrainians never even knew they were allowed to apply. Entrepreneur, 51. This is fantastic. He was a peacekeeper, a gas station operator, 45. Yeah, 45 years old. Look at how many, either students or retired people, just fighting for democracy. This fight for democracy, they were told by Germany, by the Americans, by the Canadians, that if they got rid of Yanukovych, that everything would be better, right? Ukraine would be part of the European Union, Ukraine would be part of NATO, the Russians could never interfere. This was the promises. You can go look back at 2013, 2014 and hear what the American diplomats, what the lovely Germans, the Europeans, the Canadians all said to the Ukrainians. So get rid of Yanukovych. Don't worry, we'll support you. This guy's support is losing the Donbass, losing Crimea. 12,000 deaths. This is what these guys fought for. They fought for a dream that became a nightmare. It's happening again. Anyways, that's my video for today. Let's see what happens tomorrow.